I'm 23. My 23-year-old husband cheated on me. Yes, we are young. I know, we have been together for 5.5 years and married for 2. Some background: we met in high school and started dating a few months before we graduated high school. I had slept with another person before him, but I was his first. He had been intimate with other people, just not sex. This is all said in the beginning of June 2018, so it all started when my husband and I were about to have sex one day and it just didn't happen and he acted weird about it. I went into our guest room and laid down just upset about how sex went. It felt like we went connecting. My husband came in and eventually said, "I just don't know if I'm attracted to you anymore. I really suffer with low self-image," and I just freaked out crying and having a major anxiety attack. So then we were just struggling for 3 days. Not connecting at all and just pushing along and going through the motions. Then comes a Saturday night. He comes home from work and immediately gets in the shower and then gets dressed. He comes and sits with me in the bedroom and tells me that some guys from work are going to be going out and he is going with them. I told him that I was worried about him going out, especially since we were trying to figure ourselves out. He promises me that everything is okay and he encourages me to relax with a glass of wine and my favorite show. My alarm goes off at 4 a.m., I work 12-hour shifts, and I roll over and he isn't there. I whip myself out of that bed and run to the front door, and as I get there my husband is coming in. "What are you doing up?" I tell him that I always wake up this early for work, and he says, "Oh, and then you have a cute butt." I start getting frustrated. "Where were you?" Out with who?" "The guys, it's 4 a.m. "What is open until 4 a.m. "Places." He gets into bed and I start getting ready for work. I finally decide that I am too worked up to go to work like this, and I go into the room and I say, "Hey, I'm really upset and I want to know where you were. You don't need to tell me now, but if you don't I'm going to be upset all day about it." He comes out and tells me that he slept with someone else. I freak out and go to work a depressed mess. We talk that night and decide that we should try and figure things out. I still really love him and we just bought a condo together and it just seems like as things fell into place he decided to do this. He tells me that he was going to tell me, but he just felt like he didn't want to tell me before I went into work. The next day he spent the night in a hotel room because he needed to make sure he was staying with me for the right reasons. I again freak out. He explained that he just wanted to make sure he wasn't staying with me because I was sad and he didn't want to let me down, which I could appreciate. So fast forward to our first day off together and we have a great day and he finally says, "Hey, if we are going to work this out I need to tell you something. I wasn't out with my friends. We met on Tinder." So again I freak out. I tell him I need space and I move in with my mom for 4 days. We met back up after the 4 days and everything has been going pretty well. I asked him everything I wanted to know, short of who it was, and we have been working on it. He says he regrets it and he believes that he did it because he was just feeling poorly about himself and this made him feel desired. I check his phone sometimes and everything is clean. I still cry about it. I'm still worried. Sometimes I lay in bed and imagine him kissing someone else and I just don't know what to do. I get pissed at him and I can't even explain it. 2 nights ago he said, "Will we ever be the same?" And I snapped back with, "Of course we will never be the same." I feel bad asking my husband to comfort me, when he is the one that did this to me. Am I overreacting to a one-night stand? How do I help myself move forward? Can I even move forward? I still love him. I just need to know he won't do this again. He promised he wouldn't, but isn't marriage promising you won't to start with? Here's the background. My husband, a year and a half ago, cheated on me. The affair was a one-night thing. He did talk to her for about 3 weeks in total. He has expressed immense regret and shame and has apologized many times. Right now, we're at a point where he is allowing his shame, depression, and guilt to literally eat him up from the inside out. He came to me and said that he needs to get help, but also feels like he should move out. He says that being around me makes things worse. He is not a talker. He is struggling to open up and talk about his emotions. I will bring up insecurities and fears I am feeling and he doesn't know how to communicate, discuss the problems we have, and work on them to move forward. He takes every insecurity and fear I have and absorbs it in a "this is all my fault" way. Then he turns that into self-hatred. He also takes everything nice I do or say and tells himself that he doesn't deserve it and lets that fuel his depression. He says living with me has become toxic for him. And I agree. However, I try so hard to get him to see that it's because he is not communicating. He's not getting anything out and off his shoulders. But he won't agree to counseling. He says he needs to fix himself, that I can't fix him. He needs to work on his depression, his communication problems. He needs to learn to live with himself and love himself after what he did, and learn to accept our situation and my love. This way he can build a better relationship with our children, and then we can start to rebuild. What he wants is to move into an apartment close by and come by whenever I allow it. Basically, he's saying he'll call me when he leaves work and ask if he can come over to see the kids and have dinner, or he'll call to invite me and the kids over to his apartment. He wants us to keep all our finances the same, no changing bank accounts or legally separating anything. He wants us to remain friendly and described it as dating, where we can go to an almost neutral state or fresh start and work up from there. He has stated many times that he knows this is very hard for me to grasp, but he does not want to lose me and thinks this is what is best for our relationship, our family, as well as him and I individually. He says that he is constantly telling himself that I hate him and that he doesn't deserve me, and he's buried himself and feels like he's hiding behind a mask. Which is something I have been trying to get him to talk with me about for a year. Here's the thing. I do agree he needs to work on his depression, lack of communication, self-hatred, and anxiety. However, I have many fears of a separation. I fear that we won't be able to make it work. I also fear that I am sacrificing a lot for this. I have nothing but patience for him through our journey in trying to repair our relationship. I have tried to help him with his depression. I've supported him and was always there for whatever he needed. I mean, he would let things get to him so badly he would just lay in bed all day. The thing that's really hurting me is that he says we aren't fixing anything. I'm bringing up the same fears and insecurities. Yes, I am, but we don't discuss them. He gets this "it's all my fault" attitude and shuts down. He takes my feelings as insults. He is adamant that removing himself from our home, which he thinks is adding to his depression and anxiety, will be a much better system than seeking help from a therapist. He also said that he's doing this no matter what. Basically, he said he wants me to be okay with it, knows it's a lot to ask of me, and will understand if I can't agree with all of it. But he is going to move out and we can just break up if I am not okay with this arrangement. This is a lot. My head is all over the place. The only thing I know for certain is that I can physically see that he's hurting, and has been for some time, and I do love him and want him to be happy. I guess I'm looking for someone who may have been there. Who may have some advice. Someone who's dealt with depression or with someone who has depression. I don't want to lose my family. I am not sure I can agree to this. I expressed a lot of my fears to him. He's cried and told me he knows it sounds terrible and it is too much to ask of me. Part of me feels like I want to tell him I need time to think about it all. The thing is, though, he has already applied for an apartment and just needs to sign the lease. He told his dad he was moving out. He's made his mind up. I just don't know if I can do this. My husband cheated. What do I do next? New. So I recently caught my husband having cheated on me. I've been suspicious for months, but he barely leaves home except for coffee and to go to hockey. He hasn't worked for over a year and a half, having lost his job in the summer of 2018. I never pestered him to get a job, other than just a few reminders to get something since I was pregnant at the time. I just recently discovered I'm pregnant again. And I found out this news less than a week after I found out he was talking to someone. Our relationship has slightly suffered since I had a child. I suffered from severe pregnancy sickness and couldn't handle anyone being close to me. In a nutshell, I caught him and he has been good about not leaving any trace except for when he forgot to delete a video chat on WhatsApp at 1:30 a.m. on a Saturday night. He says it was nothing. I highly doubt that. When I confronted him, he said he hasn't been talking to her that long, only about a month, and they only sexted and never met. He says they talked on a random chat site around November 2019 and she told him to download Kick. He swears they never met or had sex. I asked him for complete honesty, but just discovered even that was a lie. They've been talking since May of 2019. He's acting extremely apologetic. Says he'll never do it again and that this is the biggest mistake of his life. He's been through some traumatic experiences as a kid, but I don't feel those negate what he did to me. I'm not perfect, but I have always been an honest, loving and supportive partner. I keep thinking of what he did and I feel disgusted and betrayed by him. He knows I would never cheat and feel like he's taking advantage of my honesty and integrity. If we were dating, I'd leave. If we were just married with no kids, I'd leave. Now we have one child with another on the way. I do not want to live with a constant paranoia he's cheating on me or that he'll cheat again in the future. He doesn't even admit it's cheating. Says he never met her, which I highly doubt, and that he loves me. Please offer some good insight. Oh, and BTW, I was never a suspicious wife. We've always given each other freedom to hang out with friends, go out, etc., with the understanding neither of us would cheat. I feel like he's a pathological liar. I even caught him a few years ago smoking cigarettes, something he swore he never did. Slowly he went from I never smoked to I bum it off my brother sometimes to I sometimes smoke but never bought a pack to I've been buying a pack for years. He thanked me for making him stop smoking. But it was a lie cause he still continued to smoke. Only thing that made him come clean was when I bought nicotine detection kits, which directly counteracted his lies. I want to know what to do. I don't think I can love him anymore. I'd be staying more for the kids than love. I feel like I deserve better than this. Sorry for the long post. Lastly, I found out after he blocked her number, she called him privately. He told her don't call me again. I almost got a divorce. This is the one part of his story I can confirm. Other than that, don't trust much of what he says. I do know he's willing to give up talking to her though / already has. TLDR, husband cheated on me. He swears was just sexting and didn't meet her. I don't believe him. We have a child with another on the way. Am disgusted by him and love him as a friend now more than a life partner. In the sense I want him to succeed in life, but I don't feel like I'll ever get over the betrayal.